This is my audience. So I grew up in a very Norwegian household, and that meant that we shared a lot of Norwegian tradition, which included various recipes for cooking and stories that we shared. And one particular story that we shared was one about Holdra. And Holdra is a forest nymph, and she is really just a protector of the forest. She is often depicted as a very beautiful maiden with golden hair, and she'll have maybe flowers in her hair as well. And she, depending on the story, can be wearing a bunad, which is what I'm wearing right now, or she can be wearing a white dress or a white robe. Baseline is she's always this very beautiful creature. And in Norwegian stories, she's somewhat of a popular folktale figure. Her story goes back into Viking ruins and potentially before any form of writing existed in Norway. And her story since that time has changed. There's a lot of variations, and especially with the introduction of Christianity into the Scandinavian area, her story and her character changed quite a bit. So I will have kind of two different representations that I'll briefly cover about her, post-Christianity and before Christianity. One of the biggest things, though, is she uses a lot of song, and her instrument of choice is the harp. So while telling the story, I am going to attempt to play on my harp. I will be playing a song called Lauda, and this is not the style of harp that she would have played. She would have played a much smaller one so she could walk, but similar instrument otherwise. So, as I said, Holdra was a forest nymph, and she protected the forest around her and the people in the forest. So, pre-Christianity, she was a very peaceful creature that would often be helpful to the villagers, including watching their fires when they slept, and in return, they would leave her gifts and food. And this really worked out for everyone until people started disrespecting her or the forest that she was in and protecting. And whenever this happened is typically when the story after Christianity was introduced occurs. So in these storylines where someone disrespects the forest or herself, she will lure the person into the forest, and it's usually the men of the village. And so she will use her harp and her song, and she will entice the men into the forest, and will just really lead them into the depths of the forest and really convince them that they found this beautiful maiden and that they're maybe going to marry her. And so once she gets them deep into the forest, the thing that is important for Holdra is she will reveal her cowtail. And her cowtail, which is hidden underneath her bunad or her dress, is the only way you can differentiate between the Holdra and a normal human woman. And at this point, the men would know that they had been tricked by the Holdra, and she would usually kill them in the post-Christianity stories. And once she killed them, she would gain the strength of them, or the strength of 100 men, depending on the story, and she would return then to the edges of the forest to hide and to wait for either innocent people to help or people to disrespect her forest, in which she would then kill again.